What would a perfect RMC look like in 2026? Well, I have the answer. Okay, first, we need to define what perfect even means.
Having all of its parts in harmony with a common.
Anyway, a perfect roller coaster needs to have a good first drop. That's usually my favorite part of a roller coaster. It needs to have variation, so it can't just be camelback after camelback. I'm talking to you, B&M hypers. It also needs to be long, but not too long. And finally, it has to look good. It's an RMC, so I don't think that will be a problem. Let's get to the layout. For the pre-lift, we could go for a few bunny hops like Air Force One, or we could do something like Zadra's flat turn. Since this is a newer RMC, I went for the flat turn like Zadra. The lift tilt takes you up 222 feet before plunging down an 89-degree drop, speeding at 76 miles an hour. Front row riders pull a max of negative 0.3 Gs, while back row riders reach an insane negative 0.9 Gs. The next element is basically Untamed's first inversion into an Iron Gwazi-esque outer bank. The whole train pulls a sustained negative 0.9 Gs and 0.6 Gs of laterals. The next element is based off of Hakuge's double up. The first hill pulls around negative 0.8 for front row riders, and in the back pulling around negative 0.7 Gs. But the second hill is switched for a step-up underflip like what's seen on Wildcat's Revenge, reaching 0 Gs for a slight bit, pulling out of the element at 3.5 Gs. Next up is a classic 0 G stall with 0.3 Gs of laterals into the element and 0.7 on the way out. Right after that is a 90-degree turn that has a little airtime pop before you start turning, but the element jerks you straight into a death roll. It was inspired by the death roll on Iron Gwazi, this one not being as crazy, but still fun, pulling negative 0.3 Gs to the front row riders and the same for the back. After all that action, you have this weirdly shaped 45-degree turn into a little airtime pop that pulls negative 0.7 Gs and 1.2 laterals, and in the back reaching negative 0.4 Gs and 1.4 laterals. The mid-course brake run slows the train down to roughly 30 miles an hour before reaching a Steel Vengeance-esque flat turn that is angled downward slightly so it wouldn't valley after a full stop on the mid-course brake run, thus not repeating the problem Steve had back when it opened. The front car pulls 0.3 laterals and negative 0.4 Gs. The back pulling no laterals and negative 0.7 Gs. Up next is a low-to-the-ground turn to the left, pulling 3.5 Gs in the whole train. And now that we're in the second half, we have to focus on smaller elements. So I decided to do a switchback hill like Zadra, this one pulling negative 0.2 Gs to the front and the same to the back. The whole train also pulls 0.5 Gs of lateral force. After that quick element is a sideways airtime pop pulling negative 0.7 Gs to the whole train. Following the sideways airtime hill is another funky turn, this one having an airtime pop right before the turn, pulling negative 0.5 Gs in the front and negative 0.3 in the back. After this high G turn, there's a little S turn with an airtime pop that pulls negative 0.3 in the front and negative 0.4 in the back. Next up is a classic airtime hill. Nothing crazy about this one, just negative 0.9 Gs for the front and negative 0.6 for back row riders. And finally, we have a very tight turn into the brake run, obviously inspired by Iron Gwazi, but this one being banked more than 90 degrees. Enjoy the POVs.